Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Got a little pep in my step today. Just finished the Empoli match, and with the rather disappointing and stale first half performance, I think we can all agree that it was not great. Inter found a way to come out in the second half and put together a great response with no Inzaghi on the sideline as well. We had Massimiliano Faris as the caretaker coach, with Inzaghi being suspended for this match. And yeah, it was a great second half response after, like I said, a stale first half. Uh, 3-1 victory for Inter. We'll dive in a little bit over the course of or over what happened, and then the details of the match. I guess we'll kind of summarize that up throughout this. But if you guys are tuning in, I appreciate all the support. New investment, maybe you could tell. I have upgraded to a cheap but better microphone, so hopefully the sound quality is better for whoever is listening. With double digit views now consistently, I have to give the people what they deserve. So I think a little audio upgrade is was due in order. So appreciate all you guys giving me a couple views here and there. It really is nice to see. But we'll dive into the match. Inter had to respond after Napoli dispatched Atalanta yesterday 3-2. So it was really a match that Inter had to get all 3 points. It's kind of becoming that kind of a race between Inter and Napoli. Um, wasn't sure how Inzaghi would line up with this match, or I guess Faris would line up this match, considering midweek we have a Champions League match. But the starting lineup seemed like a decently strong squad with a little bit of rotation. Jan Sommer in goal, with Pavard, De Vrij, Carlos Agosto in the back. Dumfries, Barella, Aslani, Zielinski, Di Marco making up that midfield five. Taremi and Lautaro starting up top. Little shocked to see Aslani after last week's performance against Bologna. Shocked to see Taremi as well. But again, we have that midweek fixture, so Inzaghi wanted to give a little rotation. It looked like, or Faris, whatever you want it. Whoever was making the calls, it was Inzaghi. But yeah, started off first half. Little observation I made kind of early. Didn't really see it as much throughout the match, but early on, if you noticed, Dumfries was really high up and more centrally lined up like a striker, and Pavard was kind of playing of that wing back role early on in the match. I didn't really see it often after that, but something interesting to see. I think with Pavard back, that gives a little more flexibility and freedom. Bisek has the attacking ideas and abilities, but I think Pavard is just more refined and a better player at this moment. So we have the confidence in him to be able to cover as well as get forward. So interesting to see. That's something that I think if we get into the round of 16 Champions League matches with Pavard and Dumfries playing, we'll see a lot more of that. Other teams in Europe don't see a lot of that kind of setup and tactical play. Um, there was an incident in the ninth minute. Ismaili for the center back for Empoli. Uh, didn't seem intent, but it also seemed pretty direct, I guess. The cleat on Lautaro, it obviously hurt Lautaro pretty bad. He wasn't looking at it, Lautaro. I don't think he knew about it, but it's still, there was a high stud, and it was a dangerous stud. I don't even know how it wasn't just a yellow. It would have been a penalty. Maybe the ref didn't want to be a penalty. I don't know. VAR didn't seem it was a clear and obvious, but seemed like if this would have been a 0-0 match, that could have been a talking point kind of deal. I thought in the first 10 minutes, Aslani and De Vrij looked pretty lively. Lautaro as well. He definitely looked hungry early on in this match. Aslani played a great teasing ball over the top to Pavard in the 13th minute. The signs for Aslani were there. He needed a response after that game against Bologna, like I said earlier, and I think he responded well. Tough, break against Bologna, really poor performance, and that could really ruin and wreck a player. But his confidence didn't seem to be wavering at all this match, and maybe that's due to how close knit this group is. It seems like all the players really play for each other. and it was a good response, I think, from Aslani in this match overall. 14th minute, Lautaro had a chance for free kick set piece. It looked like maybe like a bicycle-esque goal. It was a great save by Vasquez. It was a snap kind of bicycle. Lautaro's back was to the goal. But it seemed like Inter was growing into the match at this point. And then after that, it just fell off. It was slow and bland pretty much for the rest of the half. I wrote that it looks like this game's calling out for an Alexis Sanchez kind of player. We've mentioned that a few times on the podcast. Inter, I think, really misses a player with that creativity and dribbling ability. But it also, I wrote right after that, Lautaro is going to get one. It felt like that type of match where Lautaro was going to get a goal. I also wrote in all caps, is Taremi even on the pitch? He had an absolutely useless performance again, in my opinion. I don't know, and I've gotten into arguments throughout the week on social media. What is people's? Why are people letting Taremi off the hook? He was a free transfer. That is the only thing that I can see is why maybe people aren't giving it such a hard time. But he's gotten so many minutes. He has only scored 2 goals. One was a penalty, so one from open play. It was in the Supercopa. It was a great goal. Not going to dismiss the fact that it was a great goal. But other than that, yeah, he runs. His touches kind of seem wayward all the time. He misses gifts and easy chances. A lot of times he's like Fratesi. You don't even know he's on the pitch. I guarantee, and I think we saw this towards the end of the match today, if Arnautovic got more minutes than Taremi, it'd be way more effective. And I don't think anybody at this point can argue it. Taremi has done nothing to justify the amount of minutes, in my opinion, that he has been given by Inzaghi. Let me know, guys, what you think in the comment. It seems like it's kind of a hot topic, along with the Aslani stuff. Taremi is kind of getting in that conversation, and I think Zielinski maybe potentially could be entering that conversation. What does Zielinski bring into the table? A lot of the times, granted, I know it's tough. He doesn't get a extended run of matches with Hakan and Mkhitaryan in front of him, but all these players that are our substitutes and our reserves need to step it up. And Taremi is one of the more guilty ones, in my opinion. But that's something maybe we can talk as a sub pod or something like that. Different discussion, a different day about Taremi. I don't understand the infatuation some people have with him. Rest of the half, like I said, was kind of stale and boring. Lautaro was tracking back. Like I said, he's hungry. He was doing all these small things. It was destined for Lautaro to get a goal. A little foreshadowing of what happens in the second half. Dumfries was working hard. Barella was working hard, and Barella had 2 really good volley attempts in the first half. But other than that, there was no real chances for Inter other than that Lautaro chance. He kind of was working hard to create something out of nothing a lot. And then the Barella 20, 25-yard volley attempts off of set pieces. Um, Again, my thoughts at halftime, the same thing, stale going forward. But I guess the good thing was Empoli at that time had not done anything. Taremi Zielinski just has not been good enough, or we're not good enough in that first half. Lautaro is hungry. It's kind of been a theme of that first half. My thoughts was Lautaro. He was going to get into the match and he was hungry. De Vrij, sorry. Stefan De Vrij, he's back to his very best. His performances in the last 2 months with the Cherby being out has been, in my opinion, pretty damn immense. I don't want to use the word world class. That is overused, and I don't think he's been at that level yet, but he has been very, very, very good. That performance against Juventus maybe woke him up a little bit, and since then he's just been huge in the back for Inter. And I put changes need to happen. We can't drop points in this match. This match was huge, honestly, going into it after what Napoli had done yesterday. Second half, it seemed pretty early on that it was going to be pretty predictable stuff. It seemed pretty the same. I texted a group message with a couple other Inter fans saying I could probably predict the subs that Inzaghi or Ferris is going to make. Because that's just a lot of times it doesn't seem like there's a change in any tactics. It's like for like, and with no subs coming in from the half and how stale we were, it just felt like this game could end in a frustrating manner. Um, but like I said, foreshadowing earlier, Lautaro Martinez, he's back. He's back, people. Oh my gosh, what a goal! It was a strike that it was just brilliant. Right foot, 25 yards outside of the box. Um, Hit with so much pace and power. By the time the goalkeeper could react, even when he got a hand on it, there was nothing he could have done. It was superb technique. It was just absolutely brilliant. He's back. He's back, people. It's going to be scary for the rest of the league with him and Turam finally, hopefully, getting a run of games in, being back. This is great news, and it was just so great to see. It's absolutely wonderful when Lautaro scores. He is Nerazzurri through and through. You feel the emotions that he goes through. It runs through you as an Inter supporter. It's just incredible. And after that goal, he could have sat down and settled in and maybe set back, but it seemed like he was responding immediately after that and wanting more. He wanted another goal. It was great, but at the same time, Empoli, they knew they had to get a goal, so they kind of grew in a little bit into the game after the goal from Lautaro. Um, but De Vrij was playing great. Um, the defense as a whole, I don't think Carlos Augusto played great going forward, but I think in defense he was great. Pavard, I think he's at his best when he is defending well, maybe not going forward as much, but just doing his job and nothing spectacular. And that's what we got from Pavard in this match as well. A couple of subs came on. Turam came on for Taremi, a great sub, really affected the match, and Mkhitaryan on for Zielinski. I think both of those subs kind of maybe dictated and changed the match after that. 1-0, it could have been a classic Pazzi Inter performance. These subs kind of came on, and although it did get kind of Pazzi Inter there for a minute, these subs came on, and with their experience between Turam and Mkhitaryan and their know-withal of Inzaghi's system really kind of helped Inter to guide us over that finish line here. Another goal after this, off a corner kick, Dumfries just being colossal. It's 4 goals in 5. Collapsed down from the top of the box into the 6-yard box with a towering header. Goalkeeper, nobody had anything to do or could have done anything about it. Jussi for uh, Empoli, who I kind of like. I like he's been around for a long time. I think he played for Cesena for a while. Now he's been with Empoli for a little while. Jassi, the Ivorian, who I think is also Italian citizen, just couldn't do anything about it. Dumfries, he towered over anybody in that box for that goal. And like I said, 4 goals in 5 games for Dumfries, the 2 against Atalanta. He also had 1 against Bologna, I believe. So Dumfries really making an impact off the bench. That right wing back position was Darmian's at the beginning of the season, has now fully officially become Dumfries. And he's becoming a little more effective going forward the past few matches than DiMarco, really. I think teams are focusing in on that left side of our attack with DiMarco, Bastoni, and Dumfries has benefited from it. So really good to see. Dumfries probably could have had another goal or two in this match as well. We had another substitution after that, or sorry, just before that. Arnautovic came in for Lautaro. I think Arnautovic put in a great performance, and Bastoni came in for DiMarco, which moved Carlos Augusto up to that left wing back. But the happiness after Dumfries' goal was short lived. I was actually went to go take a piss because I figured the game was killed off at that. But Esposito, Seba Esposito, the former Inter player, I think someone said we might have a 20% sell on, but no back or a buyback clause for him. He's been really great for Empoli. Rounded De Vrij, who at this point had could have been in conversation for man of the match. I think after this goal that Esposito, the rounding of De Vrij, it's a tough position. He got his hands behind his back, but I think he could have done a little more. Um, really cemented Lautaro as being my man of the match. But 2-1 Inter, and it seemed like Pazza Inter finish was going to occur. We've seen this storyline play out too many times, and it just felt like it was going to be like that. Darmian, though, came on for Pavard. I think Darmian really had a great effect on the match as well. And his effect, along with Arnautovic and Thuram, was on full effect in the third goal to kill off the match. Darmian, it came from originally Empoli had a free kick that was completely wasted. All the bodies were in the box. It was like 35 yards out. I forget who was the one that shot it, but he shot it over Over the goal, didn't really test Sommer at all. Sommer got the ball, played it quickly to Darmian, who found a great ball slicing through the midfield to a running Barella, who, again, Barella's so consistently great. Played a great ball through to Arnautovic, who held his run perfectly to be onside. And it was an all around great kind of counter-attacking move. Once Arnautovic found the ball, it was a 2-on-1. He just had to play the ball perfectly across to Turam, and which he did, Arnautovic. It was a perfectly played ball. And Turam 1-on-1 with the keeper, wrong footed the keeper, sent him to the far post, shot it to the near post, and killed off the game. Carlos Augusto did have a chance at the end, but 4-1 would have been nice. But the game ends 3-1 Inter. XG finished 1.48 for Inter versus 0.27 for Empoli. So it was a pretty comfortable win for Inter, I think, all around. Although the first half was very stale and boring, the second half we saw the Inter that we've been longing to see kind of since that Milan match. They've been very stale and boring. Usually they respond well to defeats, the Man City defeat in the Champions League. Um, it's taken a couple matches to wake up and find a response, but hopefully this response without Çalhanoğlu, without Mkhitaryan, without Acerbi, Mkhitaryan did come on, but he didn't start. Without our starting, who you would think is the strongest lineup we have, no Thuram in the starting lineup as well. Getting a 3-1 win like this against a pesky, stubborn, low block defensive squad of Empoli is huge, and it puts the pressure back on Napoli. And I don't really ever think there is pressure on Inter. We're the Scudetto winners. We have a lot of champions in our squad. But I think if we wouldn't have got a result this match, maybe the pressure would have been on the whole squad. My thoughts on this match, and you guys let me know in the comments what your thoughts or if you have any responses to my thoughts. But I think it was a great response coming out in the second half without Inzaghi on the sideline or in there in the locker room. Now with technology, who knows? He probably got on a FaceTime and blessed the club out or the team out at halftime through Skype or something like that. Or maybe Lautaro, Barella at halftime, our captain and vice captains, really got on the squad and said, we need to respond. We have to respond. So, really great response in the second half. The subs, some things we've been calling for. Our reserves, our subs, they came on, albeit, some of the subs that we had come on were our first squad, our preferred team. But they worked. The subs came on, made a response. They were effective, and they really killed off and got us over the line in that second half. So well done on the subs. Faris really did a huge job, I think, on the sideline here. Uh, is he the new Inzaghi? Who knows? I think Inzaghi probably was in his ear somehow telling him what to do, but everything worked, it seemed, in the second half there. Lautaro is officially back. That's my third point here. It's great to see if we can get him and Thuram on the same page and string together a couple performances where they both put a goal in. I think Scudetto is all but ours. I think Napoli, they're going to hang around, but when you have two world class strikers firing at all cylinders, it's going to put you over the finish line, in my opinion. So great to see Lautaro. He's finally back, people. We could say it. Uh, Taremi should sit. He shouldn't be getting the minutes. He shouldn't be taking minutes from Arnautovic, in my opinion. I've been kind of bullish on this the past few weeks. Again, you guys, a lot of people, for whatever reason, defend Taremi. And if he's had misses that were equal, if not worse, than some of the Arnautovic misses that really have had everybody turn their back on him in that Atletico Madrid first leg last year. And it's time people really start considering Taremi not being a world class striker. He's up there in age. We did get him on a free. He could be maybe our second choice backup, but we need to find a better striker. And I think at the current moment with our squad, Arnautovic is better than Taremi. Aslani, like I said earlier, put in a good response to the critics. I did lose the ball once, but other than that, played a lot of good effective balls going forward, not just the side to side passes. I think he had a really good performance, and I think the fans should applaud him for this. If we're going to critique him, we need to applaud him, and this was a mature, good performance. He was one of the few ones trying to actually put balls over the top and test that low block, open it up of Empoli. So, grande Slani, in my opinion. Esposito goal, huge. It seems like maybe he'll leave Empoli for either a big fee or maybe we can work out a deal since we have a 20% sell on clause for him and bring him back to the club. We'll see. That's an interesting one to keep an eye on. Another one is Smiley for Empoli. Don't think he had a bad performance, just not on the Inter level, in my opinion. Keep an eye on those two guys for Empoli. De Vrij, Lautaro, and Dumfries were the three best performers, in my opinion. I think Lautaro goes away with the man of the match with that brilliant goal and everything he did in the squad. But if it went to Dumfries or De Vrij as well, I would not be surprised. And then final thought was it's game on. The Serie A is a two-horse race, I think, officially. The table has Napoli 50 points, Inter 47, Atalanta 43. Those are the top three. Inter, of course, have that game in hand, which, if you're an Inter fan, you know all too well the game in hand doesn't necessarily mean anything. So we need to collect all points and hope that Napoli maybe pick up either a draw against Juventus or Juve, as they're known, or lose to Juventus. It's going to be a huge match on Saturday. Napoli have Juve on Saturday, and then coming up for us, we have Sparta on Wednesday, Lecce on Sunday, who did not have a good performance today. Rebic got a red card in that match. I think they lost 3-1 to Cagliari. And then we play Monaco. So that's going to end out our January. If we come away with 3 points against Lecce, and people are predicting 3 points total in those two Champions League matches, we'll be out of the playoff spot for the Champions League and get kind of like a bye, which would be huge. And that would really, depending on the game Saturday, really put a good spot going into February, which is going to be a tough month. So, really great performance second half from Inter. Let me know, guys, what you guys think. Appreciate all the support and love. Also, shout outs to Uncle Sharma. Sent me a message. Really cool to hear that he listened to one of my responses. I've been listening to that guy for a while, so really awesome to get that shout. So, as always, guys, Forza Inter. Let's bring the Scudetto home.